19世紀末、大帝都ロンドンで開催された万国博覧会を知らぬ者はないだろう。世界の文化、最新の科学技術がハイドパークの特設会場に集められた。来場者総数5000万人を超えた今世紀最後にして最大の祭典は、全世界の人々に強烈な印象を刻み込み、大成功のうちに終わったのだった。しかしその会期中に起きたあの大惨事の真相解明の裏側に、我が友シャーロック・ホームズの活躍があったことを知る者は少ない。彼はあの大事故の裏に幾重にも隠された真実を暴き出したのである。ハイドパークにそびえ立ったロンドン万国博覧会の象徴ともいえるあの水晶塔のごとき孤高にして凍結した名推理によって、
ロンドン万国博覧会、会場はあふれんばかりの人だかり。ロンドンには珍しい晴天のもと、驚異の科学実験が行われようとしています。
The weather is unusually fine. Like, I guess because it's foggy a lot. Does that mean it's like humid there if it's foggy? What is fog? Like some condensation stuff, but outside? Or I don't know. Isn't that what condensation is on the outside?
馬車は姿を消し、自動車が行き交う。海を渡る船は羽を持ち、大空を飛ぶ。
Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy? Like we already have like planes that can get on water.
超電気式瞬間移動技術、世界で初めての実験であります。人体を巨大な電気エネルギーで瞬時に分解して別の場所へ転送。
I was like, how is this fucking safe? That does not sound safe at all. A man will literally be disassembled. And then I didn't read it until after it's like, oh, and be beamed to another location. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
そしてその組成情報を計算して元の姿に合成する驚くべき技術。
Wow, I can see this going fine.
「これより一瞬の後、この紳士は驚くべき空間を超える旅をする。電気分解された紳士はあの水晶塔に転送されるのです。」こうしてよし。
Bruno, are you listening? Oh, sorry. What was that, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? Today's paper. It's full of news about the Great Exhibition again. Ah, yes, the Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? Oh, him too. Did you say something? Oh gosh, you're even more down. Whoa. Well, when did you arrive, Mr. Naruhodo? I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why didn't you mention it before? I thought you might have known I was here. You know, because breakfast? Iris is quite right. You're lacking in vim, so much so that I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce the reason perfectly well with some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning, with all its unruly spikes. Clearly, it can be deduced, therefore, that... let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think we can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has. Ever since we first met, in fact. Oh, really? How interesting. It doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh. Well, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Okay, but I mean, I guess maybe they're nice enough to be like... Or maybe, you know what, we don't know what he's been doing. Like, he could have been doing odd jobs here and there, you know? Like, part-time shit. He could have been the paper boy for all we know. Because I was like, okay, 6 months and he hasn't done any work. So, I mean, maybe they're nice enough to just let him stay there, you know? Don't you agree, Hurley? Did you say something? Ah, back to moping. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me. I know, and the great exhibition has opened. You'd think he'd be excited. Oh, why don't we all go see it together? I want to. Of course I do, but I can't. Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from? Is that it? I don't remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial heard at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable, yet at the same time, unforgivable mistake. The words fail me, this situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo, yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study, so that's what I've been doing. You have, haven't you, Bruno? Reading all those big fat tomes about British law up in your room, and the notes about Sholmes' old cases. Brewing Iris's special blends of tea, fetching my daily bread. You become something of a manservant around here. Start on the silverware next, Master Naruhodo. Well, I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider, specifically Lord Strongheart at the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Lord Strongheart? The delightful Lord Chief Justice? Not a favorite fellow. Or not my favorite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could, and I can't do that just by sitting around here. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching. Oh, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on? Do you mean those things? Oh, you mean those things fly? Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All you need is hot air. But how? How does a hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all. That's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. But in 100 years' time, all these things will just be common knowledge. I suppose they might be. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Something went wrong on the open experimentation stage yesterday, apparently. There was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it, though. I'd love to see how bad some of these scam experiments really are. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. See here, every page of this paper carries some article or other about a great exhibition. But the brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, to the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. Shadows cast behind? Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the paper? Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add? That's not like you. What sort of case is it? Shh! Be quiet, Mr. Naruhodo. We must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening. You're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean, Iris? Well, usually, the more mysterious and complicated a case is, the better Hurley's mood. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please, you mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes? Never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. Oh, that was a deep sigh. So many glowing reports about the great exhibition and everything's going on there. Other than this rather gloomy looking one, that is. Wait, what? What's the matter, Runo? The Reaper attacked? That's Lord Van Zykes. This must be what Mr. Sholmes was talking about. Does he know any more? Oh, and someone lost their cat. Every article on the front page is news about the great exhibition, public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's also positive and hopeful about the coming century. We must all go see it properly before too long. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zykes was attacked. That's terrible. You know the legend of the Reaper of the Bailey, of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes, Prosecutor Barack Van Zykes. They say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case, there's no salvation for whoever's in the dock. Even if the defendant is found not guilty. Once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another, that person's time left on this earth will be short. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law. They'll stop at nothing to secure an acquittal at trial. Falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. But even such devious tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to have been taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean... Lord Van Zykes has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time? He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness. Is he alright then? Is he hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know? Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zykes and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow's morning edition. I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No, I can't wait until tomorrow. In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps? Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Ha, you really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you would be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but now I'm wondering where you're going. Well then, see you later, indeed. Listen to him. He's still laughing on his way out of the door. Alright then, Bruno, let's get going. Oh, Iris, what are you wearing? I've got change to go to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me. What? But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, well that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there then. Okay, fine. Just lower that weapon, would you? Of course. And after that Supreme Court, then we'll go see the Great Exhibition. Probably got a lot of bird shit in here. Well, it has all these birds in it. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here. But some things never change, like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. It doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course, I was forgetting that you've been here before. The time we came here 6 months ago. When Susato was given the news that she was to return to Japan. Ah, I understand you wish to speak with me. Oh, Lord Strongheart. I trust you've been keeping well. Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. 4 hours? 4 hours we've been waiting here? Oh no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Is it Mael Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, and dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As we're the hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Oh, well, thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind as it happens. Bruno, just take a deep breath and come out with it. Can you imagine if we just like go back and leave him? It's like, oh, you left me for 4 hours. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in a court as a lawyer was revoked and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system, and I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Oh, here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on the study tour, not me. Should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office right now. Mr. Asogi was my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Sorry? The mission with which that young law student was charged. Oh, what do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean... As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Thank you so much. That's wonderful news. In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope? Of course, please tell me more. You described it as a curious affair? Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think? Instantaneous kinesis? As in moving things with a click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need. A dash of devil may care. Whatever the serious accident was actually has clearly captured Iris's imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Is it maybe Odie Osman? Odie Asman? Maybe like Odie Osman? Or is it Ass Man? Unless it's supposed to be Adi. No, I think it's Odie. Odie. We'll just go with Odie Osman. Even though I don't think that's how it's said. I don't know. Whatever. Asman? Whatever. An investor and a well-known figure in society. A large explosion? Oh, a man died? The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Hairbrine? I guess Hairbrine. We'll just go with that. He was detained immediately after the incident and is due to appear in court tomorrow. On the charge of murder. What? Murder? If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry to meet with him in the prison. There is very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exhibition, a scientific experiment gone wrong, and murder? feel out of my depth before I even started. Ew. We should go to the prison straight away then and try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely. Yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Oh, with Lord Van Sykes? All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition, and next month, the largest and most important of them will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly. London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate, so it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible, which is what's known as forensic science. Oh, so forensic science, isn't it? Exactly, the future of policing. Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly! It's extremely alarming. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim. Sorry? By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. What? Oh, how fascinating. It all began 15 years ago. I was... Damn, okay, I mean... taking spacing out to like a whole new level. And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter in the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Oh, right. Yes, that's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. Hey yo, do you know anything about this, the thing on the back of this paper? Oh, that reminds me, have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition? Of course. No, not that. The story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attacked? Oh, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not? Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There's no need for concern. Lord Van Sykes would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well. If it interests you. It does, strangely. Fortunately, Lord Van Sykes has emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter. But that's incredible. They were armed with guns. Why was he attacked, though? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Van Sykes. But the man was acquitted. I have no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money? a deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. But you're not suggesting that was the work of the Reaper, surely. The victim's henchmen certainly seem to think so. He was a man by the name of Osman. Mr. Odie Osman. Did you say Osman? That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition. Yes, known publicly as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization. Unbelievable. I wonder, could I ask you something, Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why did you use Lord Van Zykes as a why do you use Lord Van Zykes as a prosecutor? All the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. And fearful of that fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Zykes first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still, something's clearly going on here. I have Van Zykes work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him. But that doesn't make sense. How can you explain the way so many have died if not by someone's hand? Van Zykes may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues must be starting to fidget. 11 hours late? That's quite something. That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. The lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes. Where would I find Lord Van Zykes now? I would assume he's at his office. Right. I'll go and ask him about that attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Harebrain? Maybe Harebrain? Like, he's a professor? Harebrain's defense entirely in your hands. Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord.